other side. You're calling me up at the same time. I'm in the daylight. You're calling to say hi, but your words, they cry. If there's something that you need to say, I know it ain't easy living inside your brain, for sure. You keep telling me that it's all okay, but I know, yeah, your silence speaks so loud. Your silence speaks so loud, and I hear you calling out, yeah. Talking about nothing, then you said something under your breath. I can't take it, I know what you're thinking. I wish I could fix this, yeah. If there's something that you need to say, I know it ain't easy living inside your brain, for sure. You keep telling me that it's all okay, but I know, yeah, your silence speaks so loud. Silence speaks so loud, and I hear you calling out.
And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our growlings when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding.
Welcome one and all here to EGL One Season 3. We are getting closer towards the top of this mountain, which will determine who is the best Dota 2 squad within the African continent. We are finally now in for some upper bracket action. The elimination games will still have a little bit of time before we get them back on stream, but today we're seeing some of the best Dota possible as Sinister 5 will be taking on the side of Exdee. One of these squads will be moving on in the bracket, finding themselves in the winner bracket final. The other, of course, will still have another opportunity trying to fight back from the lower bracket, but it becomes a much more difficult prospect to make it happen from there. To just set the stage for all of y'all, let's just remember, Sinister 5 and Exdee, these are two teams that in both Season 1 and Season 2 have enjoyed first and third place respectively. But what's very interesting is that these two squads have never met here at EGL 1. For a very long time last year, Exdee was one of the best teams in the region just in general, but they've never been able to crack this EGL curse. Let's see if they're going to be able to do so here today. And of course, to help bring in this action will be CORNY, aka Young YNROC, aka George of the Dota. What's going on, fam? Good to be having you online. And how are you feeling tonight?
It's so good. I love these matchups when we finally get back up to the upper bracket. Like you said, the knockouts are fun and it's nice to see the people playing for their lives. But when you have the pinnacle, the best of the best, and the best thing is this week we get two of them. We get two of these matches back to back with the top four sitting here. So it's like you see in the final stage, the two big boss gladiators come out with the big spear and all the thing, and they're ready to battle. And like you said, these guys haven't played each other at EGL. They've actually only played each other 3 times since the 2021 sort of revolution of Dota and SA. On those 3 games, it was different rosters as well. Exdee have brought in Crimson Tide to play on their mid lane. Pardon me. And Sinister 5 has had new players in position swapped, 3 times around by this point. And it's going to be different Dota. And like you said, last year, May was the last time these guys went head to head. And it was actually Sin 5, Exdee that came out on top in that engagement. So we'll see how it goes tonight, but they are actually down 2. So of the 3 times, Sin 5 holds 2 of the crowns at the moment.
The unfortunate part is that during those times, Exdee was, I think, a little bit unfortunate not to get some of those dubs, because at the time they were arguably a much stronger roster, at the very least a much more cohesive and consistent roster than the one that they do enjoy right now. Of course, that doesn't necessarily mean that the Exdee roster that we're all going to be having tonight is a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. It just means that they don't necessarily have the track record of that pedigree. However, if we ignore the track record and we just look at the names on the squad, it is very, very strong a team on the side of Exdee. The same is also true for the side of Sinister 5. So how are you feeling here? What do you think is going to be the opening game? Well, I don't think the game score is going to be easily predictable, but where do you think the opening game is going to go? Because that has often been what actually ends up determining the series here in this upper bracket of EGL One.
It's a weird thing because the previous seasons, Sinister 5 sort of held this wild card in the draft stage because of the likes of Grove, where you had his Treant, his Earthspirit, and his Hoodwink that you almost always had to ban out. But those 3 heroes aren't really at the popular stage in the meta at the moment, so you gotta go, okay, are we gonna pull another hero and not ban Treant and then sort of face the consequences if they do? Or are you just gonna go, okay, we're gonna play what's meta, if they go with something that's not, then we just have to live with it and sort of play against his comfort pick there. But I want to touch on the addition of Crimson Tide into Exdee here. So bringing him in to fill that mid lane role, he was always seen as sort of the pseudo carry of the old Duck squad when he was playing with them, and he sort of always put the team on his back no matter what he was playing. And his Alchemist mid is ruined many a games and upset many a team as well. So it's a nice addition there. But I think like you said, or like I said rather, this first game is going to be decided in this draft, and if they can sort of see, okay, which way are you going to go? Are you going to go comfort, or are you going to go meta, especially after we've had the whole major to look through at this point?
The major, I think, is going to have a major impact in terms of how these teams approach today's games. I mean, Crimson Tide is a very good player to discuss in this particular regard, right? Because we saw that when he was on the side of Duck, I think there is a very stark correlation to draw through the decline of Duck in some respects and the rise of Exdee once Crimson Tide did join the team, because he did a lot for the team outside of just being the mid laner. Like you mentioned, he was a secondary carry in games where Legend wasn't necessarily looking like the hottest person in the world. When he was still on the carry position, Crimson Tide could help bridge that gap very easily. Now though, he's taking his talent to a next level, so it's going to be interesting to see how they approach this game, especially like you mentioned, the advent of the major. It's going to be weighing on everybody's minds. The fact that Chen looks like an extremely dominant hero. Chen, not necessarily a very dominant pick within the South African region. We've seen at the major, there's Tiny through the mid lane looking very, very good. Puck through the mid lane looking very, very good. Puck still played in SA. Tiny often played as a support, much more so than as a mid lane hero. So, you know, as much as it's going to be interesting to see how the major is going to impact these teams, I've always felt like South Africa is one of the regions that's a bit more resilient, for better or for worse, to the goings-on of the international meta. We just seem to have our own ideas about what we should be doing in the game, and sometimes you do see the influences creeping in, especially as we've been seeing throughout the season. The heroes like Nature's Prophet, a lot more Treant than we've, like Treant, not just from Sinister 5 when Grove is playing it, but I don't know. How do you what do you think that has emerged from the major that hasn't been present so far in EGL One that you feel is probably going to be emerging within game number 1 here?
It's interesting when I look at purely at the stats of it all, because it's the common saying, stats don't lie, but in some cases they do. Chen has only been picked twice here during this season, once for Exdee and once for Game Has Changed, actually. Exdee, we're playing against the Chen and they beat it, and then Game Has Changed actually lost their match against, I believe it was Royalty on it. So it's a bit iffy on that side, but like Puck, if we saw in the major, was such a pivotal hero that most drafts played around, because it was always sort of available in that first phase because of the bans on heroes like Winter Wyvern, Viper, Zeus, Tiny, Dawnbreaker, Marcy, all of those ones. So it was always sort of left in the pool, and people were fine to play against it, but they were also very comfortable picking it up themselves. But it's only been played 10 times in EGL of way too many picks. I can actually count it out in my head at the moment, but 29 times it's been banned, and of those 29 times it's banned, 62% win rate of that. So teams don't really want to play against it, and there we go. Exdee, get rid of it, out of here. We're not playing this.
No, this hero, honestly, in my opinion, I was talking about this yesterday with some friends of mine. I have a list of 5 heroes that in Dota right now I believe are genuinely busted and need addressing immediately. Number 1 is Puck. Number 2 is Razor. Number 3 is Tiny. Number 4 is the Beastmaster. And number 5 is this very extremely annoying, and I hate it with all my soul, Viper. So I'm hoping that none of those heroes will be emerging in the game here today. However, now that Puck is banned, suddenly one of the heroes that we've seen not really being applicable in games where Puck is involved has been this Void Spirit, especially throughout the course of the major. So now suddenly it's in vogue, it's in play. Both teams can start looking for that as an engine from the mid lane. And without the advent of Puck there aren't that many heroes in the game that like hard stop the Void Spirit in its tracks, especially considering that most South African teams will play this Tiny much more so as a support than a core. So I'm thinking if I'm the first team, or actually probably second pick here for Exdee probably looking very dangerous to find themselves with Void Spirit for Crimson Tide. And it's a hero he plays here, Corny. He knows what he's doing with that hero.
No, he does. It's these first picks, you're always sort of tentative of how the team is going to go. Are you going to go for the strong hero? Or are you going to leave it open, take the flex picks all the way? I sort of feel like Exdee wants to get something that they're comfortable playing with here, but not just in the sense of personal preference, but so comfortable in the meta, because they haven't played Sin 5 like we've been mentioning many times, but they are aware of the goings on in the scene, and more importantly, they do know where everyone's strengths lie. I'm a tad too late every single time. I was going to mention Tiny. Tiny is the one we left out, which is also a Grove special. He was the menace of it in Season 2, and even in some of the tournaments in between. I made many memes of Tiny Airlines, of instead of SAA Airlines, you go with Tiny Airlines with Grove instead. It's much better service. But they opt out for the Marcy first.
Okay.
All right.
First phase Marcy, first pick. If I'm gonna be completely honest, I've not been very impressed with first pick Marcy as much as I've been like if the hero emerges a bit deeper in the draft. However, one thing that the hero does do for you, we were talking about Grove and his specialty type of heroes. Marcy has been described by many pro players as sort of easy Earth Spirit. Grove is amazing at Earth Spirit, so it makes sense that he could be the one that's playing the Marcy here. Much more mobility now being afforded in the map. There's a little bit of flexibility between the 4 and the 5 role here with this hero, but the main thing I think when you have first pick is you never want to open with a pick that is 100% revealing exactly what the rest of your draft is going to do. Yes. The one thing I have to say about Marcy is, as much as I'm not that fond of her in the first phase, she's not only versatile in this position, but she functions in various types of drafts. So pretty good look from Sin 5, although I'm pretty sure that this is probably going to be the Grove hero for them.
Yeah, okay, here we go. This is what I mentioned. Nice comfort picks for Exdee. They pick up the Razor, which was very popular during the major, but B on his Tusk. It's something we always see. He's one of the few players in the SA scene that takes this Tusk in the +5 role. Schlinks did it occasionally here and there, but generally if Sin 5 was going to pick up the Tusk, they were going to throw it onto Grove anyway. So if they take this onto B, he's going to be happy in this lane. And again, it's another flex, because I believe it's No, not Ski Hound, sorry. Y actually does play the Tusk in that +4 role as well.
I mean, you could even flex the Tusk middle, right? We've seen that several times in the last couple of weeks as well. Razor most likely going to be occupying that off lane role, but this hero can be played mid, can be played safe lane. So many different things can happen. I can tell you that I actually saw a Chinese team win with +4 Razor in the ESL qualifiers. It was, I hope, not replicable, but it's possible in that regard. This is disgusting, honestly, what Sin 5 has done here. I am glad that there's people I know who should be on this team, who I've spoken to in previous times and had long conversations about, please don't pick disgusting heroes. Those gentlemen are off the team. I'm glad, because if they'd seen this, they might have had to just quit in protest. Marcy Viper, what a disgusting lane. incredibly strong in the early portion of the game. There's pretty much, in my opinion, no lane duo that can deal with this. Now, if you're Exdee, you're just like, well, we've lost one lane. That's just it. It is what it is. How do we try and make sure that we apply pressure on the other side of the map so that that one lost lane isn't the worst thing in the world?
I actually remember the last time we saw Exdee ourselves here when they played against Aura, they took that Viper offlane and they paired it with the IO as well. So that was a bit of a different scenario. They had the Lion as well, so they sort of had to stick the line with the safe lane Monkey. But here, it's one of these lanes that has super sustain, super damage, and super kill potential. So, what carry are you gonna pick into it? Who's gonna do the least worst? I think is the way that Sin 5 are gonna have to look at this one.
Yeah, pretty much does come down to least worst. This ban, honestly, on Exdee, it's kind of peculiar to me that they removed the Lone Druid, because I do think Lone Druid is actually one of the better heroes to put into the situation. Yeah, it does kind of suck that Mossy can get very close to you and dispose you back into an awkward situation, but you have the Roar to save you. The lane itself, you stay far enough away from the Viper that you're not truly pressured until the Viper gets an item or two. So it's kind of a peculiar ban from me. But that being said, if they'd also gotten the Lone Druid in tandem with having a Mossy Viper lane paired with, like, I don't know, some Enchantress or some Warlock or whatever, that would have been pretty much game over, honestly. The amount of pace that they could set on the side of Sinister 5 with those kind of heroes, you end the draft with a Ember, Void Spirit, Queen of Pain, one of these heroes, and then you actually can't play Dota as Exdee, even with a hero that's as high tempo as the Razor is. So I would have liked the Razor or the Lone Druid for their side, but given how scary this opener is from Sinister 5, makes sense that you remove this.
Is there any chance that Exdee take this Razor as a flex as well? Like they're gonna go, okay, we'll keep it in Pulse 3 for now, but let's maybe stick it in the carry lane at the moment, because they've been banning out the majority of the carry heroes, so Lone Druid, PA, and opposite side Sin 5 doing the same thing. So both of them accepting, okay, here's our Pulse 3 and either our Pulse 4 or Pulse 5. Let's do the rest of the 3 drops.
If you'd asked me this 2 weeks ago, I'd have said there's a much higher probability of Razor being shifted safe lane. But one thing I've been thinking about Razor, right, about why this hero is so strong right now. And I think one of the main reasons why this hero is so absurd is that he has 3 different power spikes. Most heroes only have 1 or 2. He has the power spike by the time he gets to BKB. He has power spike when he has BKB, Refresher, and level 15. And then he has another power spike when he gets to BKB, Refresher, +1 item, level 18, and maybe an Aghanim Scepter. Then the hero becomes... At all of those points, he's the strongest hero on the map, no matter what priority you give to him. So it doesn't really make sense to invest more into him, because it's just so easy to make him uber strong in the early portion of the game, just buying BKB. And now that you get this Faceless Void as well, like, the great thing about the Razor is, unlike most traditional offlaners right now, he doesn't have to necessarily play back or just play as a space creator. In the portion of the game where Void can't actually play Dota, Razor is the carry. He is the strongest hero on the map. Exdee can play completely around him, win fights, and it's not likely that he falls off, but if he does, he should have created enough space for the Void to come in Vogue later on. So I think it's almost 100% confirmed now that they're going to be putting him in off lane. And even if they didn't pick the Void, I would say rather do that. It's just there's no reason to give him more, because he doesn't need more.
I like the Shaker pickup, Seb sort of popularizing it, and the other guys playing it as well. I think Shinkyu actually played it in the upper bracket final, if I can remember correctly.
He did. He also played in the grand final.
It makes a return. I'm just going to give you a moment to process this one. It's in the same scenario, right? Morphling versus Razor. They're doing it again.
Okay. Okay. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Just okay.
Oh my word. Just Morphling. That's it. But
so,
I do know
earlier on I was giving you a list of like 5 heroes I think are completely busted and broken in the game. Morphling is part of my 3 heroes that I think actually 5 heroes that need reworks to become relevant at all in the game right now. And he's actually at the top of that list. The only other hero that I think is as bad as Morphling right now is like Invoker. But Alright. Wait a positive light. You know why? Check this out, CORNY, right? Winter's pretty much over. We're in a much happier period. I'm a very skinny guy, so I need heat to survive. I'm pretty much like a reptile. So, let's look at the positives. In this game, we've already discussed Mossy, Viper, Bonkers lane, guaranteed W.
Yep.
Morphling, as you just mentioned, helps to deal with the Razor very well. You steal the Link back from him. Not only do you steal Link, but if he lanes into you, you waveform away from the Link itself, so it doesn't threaten you in the lane. As the game goes longer and longer, you get an absurd amount of armor. Armor is one of the best ways of dealing with Faceless Void, especially early on in the game. He literally cannot kill you, even if he hits you with the bubble. You feel very happy in that situation. And we don't see this combination all that often, but it's not as strong as it used to be, but it's still decent. Earthshaker and the Morphling together, the two heroes, it's not necessarily anymore about the absurd amounts of damage that come out of the Earthshaker Morphling combo, but it's more about the mobility and that additional stun lock, which they now have a lot more of because of this duo. I get it, I hate it, but I get it, and there's reasons for it, so yeah, it's fine.
The funny part is, I just checked, the only time Morphling's been picked this tournament was that last time where you were
Really?
like, it's horrible. That's the only game. The only game Morph has played. He's been banned 3 other times. I'm not sure what really happened there in those games, but the one game he's played, he's won. He has 100% win rate. So I don't know what you're stressing about, man.
So I'm the Morph Magnet.
Perfect, yeah.
Great. Thanks for telling me, fam.
Ooh, okay, I actually like this Storm pickup. I was about to
great.
say they lacked a bit of mobility to go with the Marcy in this lane. Like, if Marcy Morph jump forward into the fight, they're going to struggle here. So now they have someone who can go in first, make a bit of disruption, use a bit of their spells up, because they don't have much in terms of lockdown, and then the rest of them can pile on top of that here.
Yeah. The Storm Spirit was also necessary because when you see an Ancient Apparition, one of the easiest ways of dealing with AA, close him down, force him to use a very bad AA ult. And in this game, Storm Spirit pretty much is zero contested in making that happen. Sure, they do get this Void Spirit at the very end of the draw from the side of Exdee, but this is not going to do enough. I mean, we spoke about, right? Crimson Tide, amazing on Void Spirit. It is one of the more preferred Spirit heroes that he does play. Yes, it does have, right now, slightly better matchup into the Storm Spirit than it used to be, but the ease of execution of this Void Spirit is way lower than the ease of execution of the Storm Spirit. Void Spirit still has to deal with this Earthshaker, still has to deal with the ostensible potential burst coming out of Morphling, still has to deal with a little bit of lockdown from the Marcy, because Marcy can come in and kill you before you're at that point in the game where you feel safe from the mid lane. However, the Storm Spirit still has... Dude, if Castaway buys BKB, he actually... only dies if he makes a mistake. Yeah, only if he makes a mistake. I would like to say he can't die, but I literally lost money yesterday saying Arme won't die on Pudge in that game. So I'm just going to say, unless he makes a mistake, he shouldn't die once he gets BKB.
I feel like a kid in school at the moment, raising my hand going, "Teacher, why is Crimson Tide playing Tusk? What is going on here?"
Wait, what?
Crimson Tide is playing Tusk at the moment.
Is this awful? Wait,
Okay.
what?
So why...
Support Void Spirit.
Hold up. So traditionally, Y has been XD's fill-in player when Junaid hasn't been able to play in their previous roster, and he was filling in the mid-roll there. They brought Crimson Tide in to fill that mid-roll, so now I'm not too sure who's playing where at this point in the game. This might be a support void, which would make this a little interesting. I think,
okay, it makes more sense to say that Crimson Tide, in his long career within SA Esports, has also played support. Right? Yes. And when he did play support, he was a 4 position. And when he played 4, the heroes he played were heroes like Earthshaker, Earth Spirit. Well, his Earth Spirit wasn't that great, but he played it every now and then. But I do 100% remember him playing this Tusk hero in my day. I've seen him play this in a support role. I think it would make more sense if they put him on the support and then put this Void Spirit in the mid lane rather. I would not like to see support Void Spirit. And looking at the itemization on these heroes, it does seem to be the case that Crimson Tide is now shifting down to the 4 position, and they are putting this Void Spirit mid instead.
It's going to be that way. So, XC just changing things up. Wanting to change things to best fit. I guess Skihan couldn't make it tonight, so Y coming in as the faithful teammate he has been. MD top lane, just chilling as a Morphling. There's nothing really interesting here.
Earthshaker. I haven't seen this in such a long time.
It's nice now that you actually get these heroes like Earthshaker that are back, or at least in the playing meta. Thanks to Seb. Hi. Because you get to have it again on all these heroes that used to be, well, not used to be, are very good on them, but you could almost like never pick them just because of the meta. We had our fun Treants and Earth Spirit games last season, but we might be entering the Earthshaker phase now.
mean, whenever we get closer to TI, it does seem to be the case that the way the meta and balances shift in general will favor heroes like Earthshaker, Wisp, you know, these extremely uber high impact heroes with like one ultimate. So no major surprise to see Earthshaker. You know, it's almost October, only 2 months away. So teams are starting to prepare for qualifiers. Teams are starting to prepare for that tournament. Earthshaker makes 100% sense. Helps you in the laning phase, gives you some team fight later down the line. And also, I think a lot of teams benefit from having a hero that is very cerebral, because Earthshaker does require you to think a lot about when is the appropriate time to utilize the Svezzure, when's the appropriate time to interrupt the wave. And those kind of teams, the closer you get to TI, the more important that kind of strategy becomes, and thus the more important heroes like this that can have a direct impact on how you play out that strategy start to become in the game itself.
They're just high-fiving. Being Grove haven't actually played each other. That's the other stat. They haven't actually, since Grove has come back to Sin 5, they've never met. None of the Sin guys have played against Grove, or Chosen One for that matter.
The last time they met was actually before COVID. That's the last time they've actually met in any kind of professional competition.
That's crazy. That is actually crazy. That's bonkers.
The last time they met, Chosen One was still actually playing safe lane carry. Like, only, like exclusively. That's how long it's been.
Chosen One here on the bot lane with the Viper. It's going to be okay, but mid lane do have Void Spirit on Y, dropping quite low, but I think he has his bottle coming out in a couple gold, and I think Castaway is already here, so bit of a lead here. Last hits wise quite even. Could have taken a bit of damage, but Spirit vs Spirit is always going to be the sort of low HP fighting the whole mid lane through. You're never going to really be ones up at the top, ones down the bottom. They're going to play it like Thompson. 10 HP is enough.
The word you're looking for is going to be boring, because nothing happens. Just trade spells, trade farm, get regen, whatever. Like, the only time anybody dies in these Spirit matchups is if we have a rotation. Fortunately, what is helpful is that on the side of Sinister 5, they do have this Marcy top. So if Marcy does leave top, then they maybe get a kill, but might have one. Oh, Marcy, that dispose. That was actually so
the range of it is actually stupid. Like, it is beyond what should be reasonable. And when was Marcy added to Captain's mode? When did Dota start going downhill, essentially?
Just before 202 of the DPs. Was it just before 202 or just before 203? I think just before 203, yeah. Just before 203, yeah.
Jeez. Everyone's like, take the sidekick. We must have the anime. Anyway. Mid lane, again, quite boring. Everyone's back up to full health, as I did have the first water room spawning. Again. It's use the mana, get to low health, and then do nothing and fall.
You know how I know that mid lane nowadays is a boring lane is when even professional mid lane players are like, why are we looking at mid, boys?
That's very true. Yeah, it's okay. It seems everyone's been very gentle, very kind.
Mid?
Top lane is not the only exception. Ooh, actually, Slink's the top lane. He's going to get rolled on. Shards is going to be there as well. Barons has left a lot of damage through them, and his MD's getting quite low. It's just going to be the first blood onto Slinks here. So Exdee taking the upper hand quite early now. Well, I say early, 3 minutes. It's quite late, but come on. Feels early for how little has happened.
I mean, let's consider this, right? For both teams, they pretty much know what the stakes are. If Exdee were to win, they've only matched 3, right? 2 seasons in a row, they've come third. They need to win 2 series in order to be able to get themselves into a position where they elevate higher than that. For Sin 5, it's like, well, there's not that much pressure. I mean, if we look at their draft as well, it becomes... We spoke about this earlier on, about how much easier it is to play Stone Spirit than it is to play Void Spirit. It's going to pain me to say, but this is one of these games where the Morphling will have an easier, much easier early game than the Faceless Void, so there's no pressure on them right now. They're just like, well, keep things going. It's going to be Exdee that are feeling not just the pressure of the game, but also the pressure of never come higher than third before. Do special stuff.
Why actually he survived there from Castaway, missed uphill with the Overload extra damage, but now Slink's in the mid lane. Crips the Tire came to help, but he's going to have to roll himself out here. I think he's still dead. Yeah, I suppose into this Remnant actually. That's a good play.
Range. What is happening?
So Grove got the 1 kill onto Y. He ran into the rotation of Y trying to get away, but Castaway would have had a double kill if it wasn't for that uphill miss there. High five to tower. No one was there to help. Bot lane. B falling low. Grove making the plays now as he has that level 3. So 2 stuns. block out your
Remedy's
way. And
actually dead.
Remedy's, oh,
Remedy's, oh my god.
got a
Grove didn't
guy.
expect it.
Yeah.
If Grove, I thought Grove was gonna run like heads up into the faces Void because Void had already used the jump away. He was actually supposed to die there. Grove didn't believe in himself. If he believed a little bit more, I think he would have been able to catch up to and kill the Void. But ultimately, they muscle him out of this lane, which is in many respects even worse because he has to walk back up the old-fashioned way. Doesn't get like the express trip. And they managed to kill his courier earlier. He doesn't have boots, so he has extremely low movement speed on this faceless Void. So as he's getting back bottom, this Void Spirit, Storm Spirit matchup not going to change middle. Still going to be very, very even. So overall, massive impact towards the side of Exdee by not being able to get anything out of these kind of skirmishes.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
both Y and Castaway have the range up, so little argy-bargies in mid are just going to keep them topped up. Castaway is actually going back to base. I guess he's got his level 6 now, so he wants to maybe opt out to rotate to a different lane. Has a soul wing, so he'll have an extra burst of mana to go for a kill.
You know, both heroes are now though that level 6 mark, or at the very least they have enough mana on the Void Spirit to make something happen with that 6, not the same with the Storm Spirit. So wouldn't be surprised if they see them make a move, hopefully towards bottom. I think this is the most likely place that you get a kill. Top field's a little bit awkward. You've got Waveform
Remedy.
on the small. Nice fine.
Yeah.
But is he fine? He's actually
he
not fine.
fine?
Doesn't have tap walk.
He's got,
actually
I
dead.
think he's, no, he's fine. Yeah. He got his
nice, nice.
boots, he did strength shift on them as well. The trades are going to do enough, or don't run back into it though. Grove might be actually in trouble this way, as Castaway actually does get the rotation up at top, so you get a nice little kill there onto Baron. But this bot lane, Grove again, he's juking around, he's actually going to live. That's a weird fight.
It's a bad fight though for the side of Exdee because now they spend time with Remedy far away from the wave. Chosen One is busy farming this up on the Viper. He's yet again losing out on experience. Look at this here, Corny. Chosen One about to crack 6, Remedy about to crack 5. This is not where I want to be as a faceless Void in this match. Actually, once he hits 6, it's time to leave. You should probably start making plans to leave right now. They don't have any stacks going for themselves, but you really can't withstand this lane once Chosen One gets stronger. We've seen Castaway already being prepared to make some of these early rotations. Unfortunately, once they hit level 6 on this Viper, even if Void Spirit comes up, I don't think they actually get the kill on the Viper anymore at this point in time.
Nah, a Viper is one of these guys, you give them a little bit of a, you give them an inch, they take a mile to take down B quite relative easy. Ooh, the stun on Y is actually going to miss there. Isn't going to hit the Aether Remnant that time around.
Corny, didn't we literally just say even if he comes bottom, they can't get this kill?
Yep. And meanwhile, Castaway, can B fight this? This is a free kill if he shows you against Castaway. Sure.
Yeah, he can't fight this, yeah, that's down. Top lane though, this kind of sucks because they're about to make a good rotation. They might actually kill with big top.
Yeah, he actually gets the remnants in. Has a ooh, spicy bit of static electricity. Oh my, like I'm rubbing my hand on a platform. That is lovely. Grove down bot lane. They are fighting over this arcane rune, so Y is going to pick it up. Yeah, I think Grove is dead here for sure. Yeah. And so a little bit of a rebuttal, but Castaway getting that double kill it's such a big lead now that he has. Top of the net worth at the moment, and Exdee, the closest hero, is 400 behind at the moment, which is almost actually more than 10%. Castaway gone on by Y here, has the Aether Remnant. Oh, sorry, the Aether Cane Rune. Why did I call it the Aether Rune? What the hell? What was it I called last? I think I called it the Veil of Discord, something else. Go, Grove, showing up to the party. He's going to get the one stun, the second as well. He has that physical damage block, so he's not going to take too much damage with Grove himself. Castaway has a bit of overload damage, and oh, the TP cancelled. I don't know if that was intentional. Let's say it was. Yeah.
They realize that like there's actually no need to show up because they actually can't kill him unless they have Echo Slap. But
yeah, Crimson
is
Tide.
that?
Should be a kill. Yeah, the stun gets just before the fissure lands itself. So that's a nice bit of kill there for the two supports. So Exdee's levels getting a bit of a buff. The top lane, yeah, Baron going onto MD. He's popped the leash onto him, but it's too much damage at this point in the game. The extra bit of damage from the sidekick and just Morphling in general is too much. Too much.
I will not get debated into saying positive words about the Morphling, but I will say that they do have a lot of damage in this top lane right now that Razor simply cannot withstand, even with the drain. It's only level 2 drain at this point, because they did have to go more points to Plasma Field to farm. I must say, this early game, not looking super hot for the side of Exdee, and the problem is, looking at Remedy right now in this bottom lane, he is the primary hope for this team. Because of this early game not going as well for them, we haven't necessarily seen a successful rotation from this Y Void Spirit. that does mean that they're going to be like, well, scaling back the portion of the game where they want to be the strongest, because they're not going to win early anymore, which does mean trying to delay as long as humanly possible until this Void Spirit really becomes, or this Faceless Void becomes very impactful. Unfortunately, that does mean that Y now has to take on most of the bulk of responsibility for the next like 10-15 minutes. So he needs like Witchblade. Oh, maybe not even Witchblade. I would have actually preferred like Kaya straight into Axe. I think he just needs to be as effective as possible. But I would also be okay with Kaya Witchblade just so he's on the map doing stuff all the time to try and make as much space as humanly possible for Remedy.
On this hero that's a Void Spirit, where you have this sort of mixture of physical and magical, it is mostly magical. Do you prefer going the Kaya route to amp it up a little bit, or would you prefer taking Witchblade where it's more direct damage increase? You can look at it like that.
I personally only like Witchblade on range heroes. I don't personally like it on these like melee sort of initiators. So whenever I see it on like Void Spirit, Emma Spirit, I die a little bit inside, but I can also understand the rationale of getting those, right? He wants some ability to stay on the map, a little bit of armor, a little bit more farming speed, and Witchblade does give you all of those things. Yes, it's not necessarily as future-proof as going Kaya Ags might be, but it still gives you ability to play at this portion of the game when you know for a fact you're going to be engaging the game 4v5 for the most part.
Yeah. Ice Blast did hit bottom. Not sure if it connected onto anyone. Yeah, it just clipped the two of them, but they're going to be fine. Just to push them out of that bot lane. Remedy has returned here. He has this Morbid Mass, so he can freely jungle, but it looks like he's going to run into a little bit of a bad Sin 5 party here.
Yeah, he's super dead, dude.
He's very dead. He did not get an invitation for this one. He's going to jump out, but Castaway says, come back here, boy, I got more zips than you. Slinks is going to jump in, dispose him away from Castaway and say, it's your kill anyway, buddy. Actually, Baron's showing up to the fight here, so they're looking to take this. He has some range up, makes him a bit tanky. Ogre Axe as well, beating them up. Has a link now, but in that break, it's not going to do much. Now, Crimson Tide is just rolled into his death. The Shard is going to try and hold back all 5 of Sinister 5, and that will not happen. So Exdee take 4 losses here, including Remedy.
Ouch, pain and suffering that fight was. They lose these 4 heroes, they lose the tier 1 tower, and the bleeding isn't done just yet because they immediately smoke up on the side of Sin 5. Look where Castaway goes. He goes to replenish some mana from this bottle with their Bounty Rune. They might want to connect back onto middle, but they don't necessarily have to. They've already started to control this jungle. This mid lane has started to fall further and further behind. Why? Be careful.
Oh,
Why and Remedy, one of them is dead, one of them is... If they go a little bit, like here's the line. Anybody that passes this line will 100% die in this situation.
Okay, B and... Okay. Being a bit literal with the line, but yeah. They are all 5 here of XD, so they can see if they can get a catch. They do actually get onto Grove, but Sin 5 are fine with this. They're like, okay, take the hell... What does the PSG always call it? ND. Yes, you got church bells, brother. My word. I would have hightailed it out of there 20 seconds earlier.
It's fine. I'm actually really surprised that they didn't jump that AA, because I think that the only way they lose fights right now at this point in the game is through burst damage, right? And if we look at the side of Exdee, the burst damage comes from Ice Blast, big spells coming out of the Void Spirit, and that's pretty much it in terms of being able to bring heroes very, very low very, very quickly. So if had they been the ones to make the initial jump, force the Void Spirit to jump defensively, then Earth Spirit can blow his spells onto the Void Spirit, Morphling can kill AA. I think they actually would have won that fight, but as we've said before, this is also a situation where winner of this goes to top 3. The difference between this game here, Cordy, is the difference between maybe 0 Rand and guaranteed 6,500. So I can understand why you'd rather make the 100% guaranteed plays rather than going for some high risk, high reward kind of situations.
Smoke up from Exdee here didn't actually get scouted out by this deep observer ward that they have. They did see the Void grab this invis, so they might be knowing of what's up at Schlinks. He sees the party, but he goes the other way, and they actually don't clip onto MD here. It looks like he is going to be okay. They might catch Schlinks though. Remedy hoping for a bash to hold him in place, but doesn't get lucky.
It frustrates me greatly how good of a Morphling game this is. And how difficult it is for them to catch up to him, hold him in position. It's pretty much just Chronosphere that threatens the Morphling. That's also one of the reasons why I wanted to see like an Aghanim Scepter out of the Faceless Void, or the Void Spirit rather, as early as humanly possible, so that they have that additional layer of silence. Is he dead?
Yep.
Yeah, he's dead.
He's dead, 100%. You have the Ice Blast here, so Slinks has got to be careful. He's got another rotation. But Remedy's actually chronoed here. He has a Mask Commander, so they got a bit of damage, but B actually runs into it. Put on the cold feet, so he's going to be stunned up in a moment. The Psychic is there with a little bit of life steal, but he's not hitting at the moment. B is going to go in and just die himself. Y is going to try and finish up to the kill onto Chosen One. The ulti with the proc is actually going to get it, but here comes MD. Carry on carries, trying to finish up Remedy. Castaway finishes up Y. And now they're chasing around the trees. MD does see him here, and this is surely Remedy dead in the doorbell. That's the same. It is now. MD, yep, finally does get the catch.
Isn't it dead as a doornail? I think it is. But
yeah, I think
whatever inanimate object he's supposed to be like, he's just dead.
He's dead. They're all dead, so he's dead.
Oh my god. That's why I was so fearful of them making that jump. Once they popped the Chronosphere, you can see how Sinister 5 reacted, right? Remember why I was worried and like, why didn't they take that fight? The only reason is Chrono. Look how they responded immediately as soon as the bubble was down. Everybody comes into the mid lane, and all of them feel 100% free to jump in because why not? What's stopping you? They're not going to jump Crimson Tide now because in front of a tier 2, but there's no actual spell that's dissuading them from fighting anymore. That's why this Morphling can now post up super high inside the Radiant side of the map. That's why Grove can sit in between the jungle and the tier 2. The only thing that you're fearful of is the Chrono into AA blast combo. As soon as that is down, the game is much easier to play for Sinister 5.
Yeah, Grove has this blink up, so he's going to blink and try and get onto Y. They actually do clip him up that time around. Orchid finished up from Castaway.
Well.
Yeah, two big reveals there. Ooh. Sinister 5 living up to their namesake, taking the fight to Exdee here. 18 to 5, 7k net worth lead, and the majority of that is on the cause, so it's not like it's just lead over the supports at the moment. Crimson Tide, I feel bad. He's been sitting in this mid lane forever, just pushing out the creeps, but yeah, dead. Like the doornail.
Is under attack.
Top lane though, they almost caught AA. TP'd back just in time on BE, but unfortunately this is what the character of the next few minutes are going to be like, where they're just going to keep being continually forced back. We spoke earlier about how Faces Void can't really engage fights at this point in the game. Nowhere close to having the BKB. The Void Spirit has finished off this Witchblade, but going into the Yule Scepter next to help initiate fights makes sense. However, this does still mean that we have a long, unfortunate game. Middle Remedy, no!
Oh, baby. Oh, they get another kill, actually. Oh, but Castaway returns it. So, Baron able to get it on Choseway, but Castaway is not going to let that go unpunished. But that mid lane, oh my. The fissure into the Blink Echo, and it's honestly, it's this vision that Sinister 5 has put up here. They have this deep ward in the base, and they have this, more importantly, the one in the triangle. Actually, Ice Blast is going to clip onto MD here. He's got to get a little bit careful. He's not going to get stunned up. Castaway is going to finish him off to the Orchid. Now, MD, he hasn't been in his own jungle farming for quite some time now.
He can't. Like you mentioned, they've got like... He's playing this... he can't be in his own jungle because the principle in Dota right now is always try to play around your wards as maximally as humanly possible. And they have this super aggressive ward in the triangle, the ward that we have now on screen that's deep scouting out things and happenings within the Radiant side of the map. With all of these kind of wards out, you're always going to be playing aggressively here, shrinking their part of the map. And we see that reflected in the net worth, not of the Morphling, but of the Faceless Void. He has gotten nothing. His progression since getting this Mask of Madness has been pretty much zero. And it's primarily because they don't have areas and space on the map to farm. Look what they have to do to guarantee him farm within the triangle. The entire team is literally around him, doing nothing. They're not farming either, but they're just trying to guarantee him farm, because they know if they leave him alone, he will die, he will get jumped. However, this does mean that the rest of the team is not progressing either, and you're putting pretty much all of your eggs in the Remedy Faceless Void basket as things stand right now.
You can actually see Grove circling on the map exactly as you're talking. They're just all in the triangle. They have perfect vision of them here. So Sinister 5 not afraid at all to take a fight. Ice Blast is going to actually go... Oh, it's sending a bomb. Push out the creeps. Why isn't here to take this fight? But Sinister 5, they know everything. Be a little late to actually figure out what's going on, but they had the vision on him, and he's going to pay the price again. He's playing +5. It's part of the game.
Hey, he killed the ward before he died. # worth.
At this stage of the game, it honestly is. That is so much better than getting out with nothing. But again, Chrono is going to be committed onto bottom. They got him quite low actually on the Agi shift. He is going to die. That's a 3 streak down for MD and a nice bit of gold going the way of Y. Unfortunately, it didn't go for Remedy. But that's a big blunder.
Yep. I don't know why it's tipping him. Sinister 5 should be the one tipping him and saying,
Why?
what the hell, bro? What happened? What's going on here? Pushing the tier 2. They don't, this is the one area of the map they don't have like complete control, like around this little tier 2. So very awkward move from him, but also kind of doesn't matter, really.
Jeez. I was about to say, that was a very ballsy move. Baron has a lot of added damage onto him. He has his BKB ready as well. So if he wants to get into this, he can. BKB to stop the fissure from being stuck out there. Crossway, here he comes! The zip in is going to hit the Orca, but he's got a little lower mana. Not going to really commit for it this time.
Nice.
I think they're going to take their medicine. Back this one off.
My thanks. Rather be safe than sorry. They back off,
Yep.
although... Wait for it.
Grove coming in again. Same play we saw in mid lane earlier, and Y once again falling down, and B, he's got to run. The Slinks on the Marcy has done a lot of them. We've been majority of the time looking at Grove on the Earthshaker with his blink, but Marcy's dispose is stupid, man. There's a reason this hero is so contested at the moment.
It's ridiculous, and he's gone in for a build. I was actually trying to check how often this has happened. It doesn't really happen all that often where a support Marcy playing in the position 5 in this game is going to be buying a first item blink tag.
Oh no, Remedy, not like this. Not like this. This is just the jump that that Sinister 5 have at the moment. Grove can lead up with the fissure, guarantee that the blink in is actually going to commit onto something nice, and then you have the Orchid and the stun coming out from Crossway as well. So bit of easy play. Why? He's going to be careful here. He actually jumps in. It doesn't actually clip onto Slinks as he blinked out on the other side. He's going to go onto Castaway instead, but Castaway is there. He gets the Orchid, and that's an easy kill. Indeed, he's going to take his own snowball, say, hey, I'm frosty today. And that's going to be Crimson Tide falling down as well. 28-8. Can it get any better for Sin 5 at this point?
Realistically, the only way it gets better is when they get BKB on Remedy, some defensive item on the Void Spirit that's not Yule, so maybe Aeon Disc in this game might make sense. And when they get the Refresher out on the Razor, all of these items at least 10 minutes out. So, in a short word, no, unfortunately. Only gets harder and harder for the next while, especially because Remedy might just die here if they scout.
Yeah.
If he gets scouted, he's 100% dead. They have
They're
Echo
so
Slam
close to
available.
having vision on him here. They do have that instant stun up, and Baron, can you even see from that side? I don't think you can see at all. So Grove is just playing off the vision that they have in their deep, inside of their base at the moment. He's high-fiving as well, maybe try and bait it up. Oh, did they
That's also
they
really
missed
complicated
the
about this
ulti?
game. Did they? Yeah.
They missed it, yeah.
One thing that really sucks about the way this game is going right now for the side of Exdee is also the fact that the way that their heroes naturally want to perform, they do not want to be spending this portion of the game just like farming. If I tell you that there's a team that has Tusk, AA, Void Spirit, Razor, and I tell you that they're farming at 22 minutes, you're probably not going to believe me. But unfortunately, they don't really have many other options. Although, the one bright side is that Sinister 5, until they get a bit more damage on the Morphling, they're actually really bad at taking the Aegis. So they are still playing with individual lines. Morphling can be bursted. We saw that in the bottom lane. Voiceless Void has the Chronosphere back online. That is their one major fighting tool, and they are smoked up right now. So if they can find a good Chrono, this might be the ticket for them back into the game.
MD is in the area here. He's tanked up a little bit. He has a Manta and the ulti all finished off. But it looks like they're going to redirect to mid instead. Baron is there unsmoked, just pushing out the wave at this point. Grove actually gets his courier kill. Is that the Maelstrom finish? I think it was. Yeah. That was the Maelstrom that he's going to have to wait 2 minutes for now. That Remedy isn't going to get. The thing I absolutely love is Grove is sitting here in this tree. He's not playing tree and he's not playing Nodewing, but he's still sitting in the trees for a solid 5, okay, not 5 minutes, but at least 3 minutes. He's just been sat in that one spot.
I think Grove actually should change his name to HYHY. Stay in the trees, man.
Oh my gosh. These deep wards from Sin 5. It gives us so much vision, right? That's what these courier kills have been about, and maybe B can get them here. It's like, oh, they're finally going to see him. No! What the hell is this?
Okay, honestly, everyone in chat, please start making your predictions. At which minute is Grove finally going to TP out of the situation? We're at 24 minutes right now. He's been here for actually 2 minutes. Just chilling. Did the missile not hit him?
It hit. It did, yeah.
Oh my god. They got the Roshan in the meantime though. Castaway, it's an arcade route at the same time as a Morphling picks up an Aegis.
Fissure. Blink Echo coming any day. One.
You got the void spirit.
Okay. I was looking at Sin 5 up there on the top of the triangle steps. They weren't quite close enough that time, so you didn't commit straight away. You're smarter than that.
But he's still here.
10 seconds later, you have the same thing up again. It's fine.
Yeah.
Brothers from last season, he's fine.
Dire's bottom
He's
tower is under
fine.
attack.
He's fine. He
Exdee.
finally leaves that little alcove for himself, but now the dangerous part comes here, CORNY, because they're going to start mounting this tier 1 tower or tier 3 tower push. They have the Aghanim shot on the Viper to help bring down the tower. Lots of right-click damage because the Skadi is not too far away from the Morphling. Look how quickly this is going down. They don't have the burst damage. Remember we spoke about it. Burst is the only thing that threatens them. But now that they have Aegis, you can survive the initial salvo of burst and not worry about it because they have nothing on round number 2.
Yep, War's Punch is going to be in there, so he starts the burst, but strength shifting is fine. He's already at more HP than he started. Aegis on him too. Ice Blast actually didn't clip there. Able to waveform dodge it, and he'll probably just lifesteal up to full now. Morphling things. Chosen one. These Vipers have just been this sort of... If you remember the old Centaur, where they could just stand in front, it's like, okay, go on me, see what happens. I won't do anything, but you're gonna die. This is my team.
Remember on that list of busted heroes, this is part of the reason why.
Castaway jumps in, he pops the BKB, he's going to just be focusing onto Y here. He nearly kills them off, he gets away with the skin of his teeth, but the Chrono is there! It hits onto 3, including his teammate Barrett, and the ulti's there that's actually going to finish off MD, but the Echo Slam for Chrome! It's even bigger! It kills off Exdee, they have no chance! A triple kill for MD! MD's running through with this, the Aegis no more, but he doesn't care! He's taking this game on his back. Morphlings say what? 100% win rate. I don't know what you're on.
Well, they're looking for the second lane of racks and potentially the game here. We should be reminding everybody at home that although Sinister 5 are on the cusp of winning this game, number 1, they're not the only winners that might be on the cards here tonight, because you at home have an opportunity to win a pair of Evetech Stealth Gaming glasses if you are to enter EGL One into chat. Only do it once. Please only do it once. We enter you into the draw, and then later on, we will be picking a winner. Unfortunately, for the side of Exdee, we're probably not going to wait that long for a winner on this game here, CORNY, because Sinister 5, looking a step, a gear, a tier, whatever analogy you want to use, they are just looking much cleaner than Exdee at the moment.
They have 1% win probability according to Gaben at the moment. What is Grove doing? What? Okay.
He's saying Triad Protector. Maybe he's upset, right? You mentioned it earlier in the draft that Triad Protector not looking super hot.
Not meta. I'll pick Urshek and play Trian anyway. Come at me.
Exactly. Strength hero in the trees. Maybe that's our mistake, is that we thought he's a Triad specialist. He's just a strength hero in the tree specialist.
Ole! Castaway missed the first hit, but he gets a vision onto B and it's easy kills. Oh, actually, Schlinks, he might be in a little bit of trouble here. He actually doesn't get Suns off because there is no Aghanim Scepter. He's going to die anyway because of the tick damage from the Witchblade. MD is getting quite close here. He's going to hit into the Remnant, but he's going to go back, and Remedy actually jumps up, and he's not going to TP away in time! Wow. Oh, MD with the Void Spirit Morph is going to... Oh, that's a tasty bit of damage there.
You know, I just realized that as much as I've seen this Matador's Dawn Spirit so many times in my life, but I think you're the first person I've heard say, Ole!
I do that. It's mostly when people miss it on a pudge hook. That's my favorite.
But why hasn't this been done for the Matador's Dawn Spirit? That's just, in retrospect, this is the most obvious thing in the world. What's happening? Yeah. CORNY ahead of the curve. What a G.
Look at Grove, man. Like, Sinister 5 are nowhere to be seen. Just pan left, pan down. Look at this guy.
Oh my god.
But this is the thing. He's setting up these plays. He's getting this deep vision, and I guarantee Exdee don't even know that he's doing this. Oh, okay. Korea. That's not this time. He's going to clip with the plasma field, so you're able to blink out.
Okay, the more interesting thing about Grove is not simply his positioning in this game, hiding in all of these trees, but click on his itemization. He went blink straight into the shot, and now he wants Refresher Orb on this Earthshaker.
Is that so you can place even more wards quicker?
No. This is about getting the... Remember that moment that happened middle, where we saw them try to jump the Earthshaker, or try to jump the Void Spirit?
Yes.
And he put out the fissure. The team was a little bit too far away, so they couldn't make the full connection. If you have Refresher, now you have triple fissure, basically. All these guys do it.
He was a little out of position there. I think he was
Look
just
where
trying
Grove
to...
is! Look where he is! Look, camera! Look at that shaker! Oh my god.
The courier's following him. He's like,
Radiant's tower has been killed.
look at this guy!
Wow.
Is this legal?
Radiant's
do
middle
this?
tower is under
Does
attack.
he have a license to tree?
These are the kind of situations where we are very, very, very hopeful that in the future we'll institute Dota referees. He needs a yellow card for this.
Hold on.
This kind of play shouldn't be allowed.
He's Grove. 00 tree.
Radiant's top tower is
I will
under
allow
attack.
Oh,
Radiant's
you know
top
what?
tower has fallen.
That's kind of wild to me. Speaking of like very strange and bizarre things, they only got the tier 1 tower now. 30 minutes. They've been playing inside Radiant base. This is why the game's not
That's
over.
true, yeah.
They couldn't get megas because the tier 1 tower top was still alive this whole time.
Oh no. Exdee. It's looking tough for them here. Let's see if Gaben has finally condemned them. He has. 100% win rate for Sin 5 at the moment. Although that is rounded, it only displays the first number, so there might be a 0.% left for them. We'll see what they can do. MD has the Satanic finished up now, so even it'll be harder to kill off this Morphling. And he's got a plethora of things to morph into here. Castaway actually jumps forward, he's going on to Y again. Heals will be up there to dispel the Orchid, but the stun from Grove is going to be there all game long. These stuns have been securing the fights for Sin 5.
He's now been rewarded for his consistency throughout this game by being given a refresher orb flying in off the courier right now. There it is completed. Well, last fight for Exdee. If they lose this next fight, the game is going to be over. Only one more racks to defend. Only one more side of the space to really contest around. And only one more life for several of these heroes. So let's see.
Slings, he starts the fight here. Baron, you gotta be careful! You got stunned up and linked there the whole time down. He's gonna fall out before he even gets a chance. He has the buyback, so he's coming in, but Remedy! He dies and he has the buyback as well. Castaway is out of mana here. Slings is actually running on the back line as well, so you do have MD finishing up on the kill and Crimson Tide. Grove is going to be in trouble, but the Chrono is there. It doesn't catch on to MD, it's just on to Chosen One. And at this point, Exdee have had enough. B says GG, Grove says give me a double. He's going to use the refresher. He built it damn well. It's my turn to use it. Sinister 5 showing why they are the back-to-back champs here in game number 1. Taking a 32-minute game quite easily, if you could say it, over Exdee here. Oh, it was a good one.
This could easily have been 27 or even 25 minutes, but clearly Sinister 5 were having some fun, especially Grove on this Earthshaker, just enjoying himself, positioned in some awkward parts of the map. But honestly, Exdee just had no option in this. Part of the issue with these kind of drafts that Exdee had to run for themselves, when you have an enemy team that has, just think about the mobility. Storm Spirit, Mossy, Morphling, and you have one hero that has super hard lockdown in the Faceless Void, and one other hero that's like pseudo-disable on the Void Spirit, you'll notice I'm not even counting the Tusk as disable because he isn't against these heroes. And do you remember a time in this game where a shard led to anything?
Nope, not one.
You can't. Because these heroes, the way that they're configured, doesn't actually allow you to be able to play in that fashion. The game also is very awkward because they have 4 heroes that peak earlier, 1 hero that needs to guarantee the game later in the situation, and that can work if you're capable of fighting against Sin 5, but it bodes very well, or very badly rather, when the MD Morphling is in your side of the map, 17 minutes on Morphling, fighting in your jungle. If that's happening, you know that the game is in a very rough state, and they just couldn't recover in this situation.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if ND and Sinister 5 spent the majority of the game over on the other side of the map. We know Grove did for sure. I think he's a tree hugger for sure. He's definitely team trees, but that's it for game number 1. So yeah, we will see you guys in just a moment for game number 2. So don't go anywhere. And if you want to enter into the giveaway, head over to twitch.tv and type in EGL One in chat. Enter into the giveaway for the Evetech Stealth Gaming glasses. So yeah, we'll see you guys in game number 2. Cheers.
It's much too early, or it's far too late. Maybe I'm too old now, I'm just afraid that you'll walk away. You're across the room from me, but it's an ocean wide, and the current's pulling us, dragging me aside. Or you're a constellation, and I'm just a star, blinking in the universe, but you'll never notice me at all. When you're gone, I don't know what to say. When you're with me, I can't say anything anyway, so just believe me. Even if the words don't come out, they're here inside my head, stuck inside my mouth.
Showing off, don't wanna have to wait tonight. Better off, I'm gonna find my way tonight. Won't you talk to me? I wanna heal your sorrow. Won't you talk to me? We'll make a new tomorrow. Won't you talk to me? What makes this happy face? Showing off, don't wanna have to wait tonight. Better off, I'm gonna find my way tonight. Won't you talk to me? I wanna heal your sorrow. Won't you talk to me? We'll make a new tomorrow. Won't you talk to me? What makes this happy face?
Welcome back, one and all, here to EGL One. We are in the third season of the premier showcase of African Dota 2 talent extravaganza, and of course all the hype here. As it stands right now, we are deep into this game that's going to be determining our first team into the top 3. It is a pretty big deal to get yourself into that. Yes, of course, because of Dell and Intel, we have some pretty great sponsors, and they put up the 50,000 Rand cash prize. However, winning this series will guarantee that you do take home some of that money, so it cannot be overstated just how important this one series is right now. And of course, Sinister 5 are ahead in this series by 1 game over the side of Exdee. Exdee, we're hoping that they're going to be able to make some recovery, because this is the first time that they've met on EGL soil. In every single tournament before this, though, Exdee has ended 3rd, Sinister 5 have finished 1st, and right now, the way it's looking, Corny, it's looking like there's a pretty good reason why there was that dichotomy in finishing placements, because Sinister 5 looking very, very, very strong up against the side of Exdee right now.
No, Sin 5 have been this powerhouse. They've been the dominating team since EGL Season 1. The record of the top 3 that we see in SA, which is Sin 5, Exdee, and now Benchwarmers, the record has been very favored to Sin 5, but it's like a weird sort of favored, because their record against Benchwarmers is 5-4 in 9 matches. I think 4 of them, if not 5 of them, are best of 5 matches. But the majority of those ones that Sin 5 have actually won were 3-0 or 3-1 stomps, absolute stomps over Benchwarmers. Then you go to the other side of things, and Exdee versus Benchwarmers, they haven't really beat them at all, like at all. They had one tournament where they actually managed to beat Benchwarmers twice in the same thing, once in the upper bracket and then again in the grand final, and they went on to win that tournament. But since then, they haven't won a single series against Benchwarmers, and we're seeing this sort of pattern. You can always sort of assume there's this hierarchy of power. You know, if Exdee or if Energy could beat Exdee, then they can't beat Sinister 5, which is always beating Benchwarmers. So it's this weird thing, but you always hope that maybe Exdee is Sin 5's kryptonite and they can make it through to that final. But at the moment, they got to clear up their draft here. They got to make sure that they're on something that they can play Dota with. And I think the more important thing is focusing on the bans. They got to have something that forces to play Sin 5 to play something that they don't really want to do. Ban out their favorite heroes, ban out the meta stuff, and just sort of put them in a weird position is what they got to go here.
Unfortunately, when you are playing a team that is actually stronger than you, you can't rely on just playing your comfort picks, right? You can't just say, well, give me my best hero and I can guarantee to win the game. Because Remedy, not just on this particular incarnation of Exdee have we seen him do well on Faceless Void. We've seen him do well very much in the past on this hero. He's very comfortable on it, but Sinister 5 also very comfortable on the Storm Spirit for Castaway, Earthshaker for Grove. All of these heroes just are ultimately way too strong. So going into the second game, I am with you that I'm hoping for a much more effective draft. I mean, when you're losing to Morphling, things are not going well. So let's see. Game number 2, hopefully no Morph. Crossing thumbs. Viper first ban from Exdee. It looks like they've already learned the lesson that one of the reasons why they couldn't win the game. Remember how much of a struggle Remedy had in the safe lane? It was just impossible for him to play Dota after a certain point in time. That Marcy Viper lane, we spoke about it in the draft. Exdee addressing it in this draft this time around. Not going to let it happen to them 2 games in a row.
If they're looking to secure the safe lane for Remedy, are they going to... Okay, I was about to say, are they going to ban out the sort of the strongest offlaners at the moment? Which we see Viper and Razor being taken out.
So.
And do you think they just first phase a pick here for their carry, so they could just, before all of the bans come out and their pool gets very limited, are they just going to pick up, say, a Jug or an Ursa or Dawnbreaker, something along those lines?
I think part of the issue is that Sinister 5 have a bit of a deeper drafting pool across all of their heroes. I think the thing that Sinister 5 have done this season, where initially last season as well, we saw this, right? Chosen One, MD, and Castaway were able to move around their roles when needed. It's been extremely prominent in this season, where pretty much in between series they've changed who's going in with part of the map. You can't always guarantee that you're going to have a favorable matchup. So you have to wait as long as humanly possible to pick up that carry hero for Remedy, I think. Let's see here. I like this opener. They get the Marcy. I know I was a bit critical about the Marcy in the previous game. However, gives them some dynamism. However, unfortunately, this gives away Tiny Puck. Tiny Puck? Tiny Death Puck. Oh, okay. No Puck. Dude, pick Puck. Exdee, now. Now, quickly, while you can.
This is sort of the same line. Are they going to flex this for the DP mid of Castaway, or are they just going to take this off lane? Like, just...
This they can flex. They can flex this not just off lane and mid, they can flex this support as well. Shinx has played Death Prophet in the past.
Yeah. I guess the same goes for the Tiny. Grove is probably going to play this. He's like, hey boys, give me Tiny. I want to have fun again. I'm going to sit in trees like normal. But yeah, it's again something they can flex into this mid lane. We saw at the major in the grand final, Toronto Tokyo took it there. I actually can't remember which was the way they swapped the roles around, but he took the Tiny mid and someone else went off lane. I thought with the other hero. It was probably DP now that I think about it. But yeah, I don't know what Exdee are going to do here. They get Marcy, so at least they have one of those pain heroes that you have to play against in the current state, on their side at least. Whereas this last time, what was their first pick last time? It was just straight Razor, I believe. Yeah, Razor Tusk.
It's Razor Tusk last time.
Yeah, so at least this time they get... Okay, there we go. They secured a nice strong lane for themselves here. B can play on this. Marcy has the heal, has a lot of jump that they can go for kills with the spin on the jug. But again, they could flip this the other way and have Crimson Tide play at a pos 4 and take the fight to MD in the safe lane for Sin 5. But Jug just, okay, before they all get banned up, pick something that we just know we can play. In some capacity.
One thing I don't like about like early Jug picks is that this hero can get somewhat exploited in the lane. Now you have to be very worried about some of these offlane heroes. Yes, we have seen Viper and Razor removed already, but I'm a little bit concerned about heroes, for example, which we haven't seen being involved just yet, but Slaughter makes this hero silly. You just feel so stupid playing Juggernaut in the lane versus Slaughter. Interesting ban on the Bane. I think they could have actually utilized themselves on the side of Sin 5, but anything they can pierce BKB right now feels very, very good. Anything that can just survive the lane. But also, crucially, I think what Sin 5 can do to try and deal with this Juggernaut is play this much more group-uppy 5 heroes together style. And Juggernaut kind of hates playing into that, because then you'll go into this GG slash and then it's like, well, everyone's sharing this damage together. I'm not really going anywhere. But still, like you were mentioning, it is also important to make sure that Remedy is as comfortable as humanly possible. This is, right now, of all the carry heroes, probably the most quote-unquote stable in terms of having the fewest awful matchups. And the only awful matchups are heroes that aren't like fully in the meta. Heroes like the Slaughter, for example, which you're not going to necessarily see. Nobody plays CK off-lane anymore, so you should be fine in that regard. So it makes sense why you go for this early Juggernaut right now.
I think Sin 5 also, this Bane ban it's a bit weird. Since the Salve nerf, it was very popular before that, but it sort of got thrown out because you just needed more help in lane. But B was playing the hell out of this hero before that change. It's every single time I looked at his reason match, it was Bane, the whole way down. It looked like a purple mess, and they're going to take another purple one, Dazzle, again. Very popular at the moment. So Sin 5 sticking with the meta. XD is too. Nothing outside of the ordinary here, but this is a nice lane secure for sure.
Yeah. The last time I was casting with Not a Hero, we were speaking a lot about what the meta looks like right now. We spoke about it on the podcast as well, how the current form of Dota is entirely revolving around the sustain meta. They've got some obscene sustain coming in between the Death Prophet and the Dazzle on the side of Sin 5. XD don't necessarily have a Spirit Vessel buyer. They do not have access to a Shiva's God builder. They could pick like AA or something, but I would prefer somebody that can build like a Skadi at some point. Juggernaut can build Skadi, but it's not necessarily his preferred itemization in a lot of these games. Between himself and the leader, these are heroes that can constitute a lot of burst throughout the midst of the fight, but Dazzle, DP are some of the better heroes in the... Well, Dazzle especially is really good against burst. DP to a lesser extent, if she survives the burst, she's super good against it. However, that's a bit of a difficult prospect between Laguna Blade and Omni Slash. So I like the idea from XD to just be like, we're not double down on what our draft is already good at. Let's not like spread out our positive attributes. Let's make it the centerpiece of our draft. We burst these heroes instantly, and then we try to deal with the rest of the map.
No, that works out well. I'm also looking at the matchup. How does Lina fare against the DP in the mid lane? Is it sort of they pick the Lina and sort of it forces them to take this DP in the off lane now? If it's going to have a bad matchup? It
fares very boringly. They just trade farm.
Just trade against. Yeah.
Okay. Oh god. Okay. All right. Some heal for Exdee now, because now they have Jug, Chen, and Marcy. So sidekick, healing ward, and the Chen auras. Super good on the sustain side.
I can almost guarantee you this is an MD pudge. He
Oh,
did
absolutely.
this. He did this back in the day when he was playing on White Rabbit, and this
10
he's gonna
seconds
play this
remaining.
again here. If this isn't carry Pudge, I will riot. Because Pudge
5
Dazzle
seconds
lane
remaining.
at the moment is stupid. He's so stupid. The only thing worse is PA Witch Doctor. I
This
hate Witch
is
Doctor,
not
though,
fun
so
to
I'm a
play.
little biased. I hate
What's up
Witch
with Witch
Hero.
Doctor, man?
I hate Maledict, dude. Maledict. It's
Maledict
the
is a
stupidest
free
ability in
bucket
the
spell.
game.
All right, I can make
Okay.
things worse for you, right? I
We'll
lost the
stop
game
before I
last
keep
week
going.
to the Pudge Witch Doctor lane. I got maledicted, hooked, and then rotted, and it was all of the damage, just like all of it. Like, yes, that all happened to me. It was pretty terrible. This game, no Witch Doctor just yet. This Pudge, let's see. Good things about the Pudge. Some way to be able to cancel out this spin TP combination from the Juggernaut. Lina has to watch her back with her positioning because she can't get. If she gets hooked by Pudge, she just dies every single time.
Yeah.
Very easy way to be able to deal with some of these Pudge armies as well. Try to isolate the strongest creep, drag it back to your side, get rid of it pretty much immediately. And of course, from looking at those, we were speaking about like how XD, their positive attribute is burst. It's not enough burst for Pudge. The kind of burst that deals with Pudge is burst like, say, Ursa, Monkey Kings. Juggernaut kind of burst is more, it takes a few seconds for that damage to kick in, and each damage is an individual instance. Pudge just presses E and he's fine. Lina, eventually he's going to have BKB on Pudge and then he's fine. Chen is not going to do anything to him at some point past the game when he gets the Aghanim Scepter. In fact, when you get Ags Blink BKB on Pudge, you blink straight into the Chen army, destroy them, and then you move on to take on the rest of the fight. This is such a good Pudge pick, honestly, from the side of Sin 5.
What are they sort of looking to pick up here at the end of the game? So they're going to be looking for probably their mid laner, but they can also take it, pick an off lane, stick this DP mid. I'll stick the tiny mid even. But I had a quick peek. B has actually been playing a lot of Chen at the moment, so he's practiced, he's ready, he's got all the bearings greased for this hero. So maybe we'll see some cheeky purges coming out on Dazzle. What's it? Dazzle poisons and all the things
Underload.
like
Underload. Oh.
that. Okay,
These monsters.
that's fine. Yeah. BKB piercing
You-
for Pudge ulti, you have a nice bit of save and especially vision because that's what they were lacking last time around.
They were
What
lacking
do you
vision,
see?
but the thing that this hero gives them the most is pressure and push on the map. Chen, Beastmaster, Juggernaut,
yeah.
all of these lanes are going to have a lot of pressure applied onto them. When Juggernaut does eventually dip into the jungle, Lina bursts down these waves very quickly. But more importantly, if they ever lose a fight on Sin 5, they lose so much real estate and in a hurry. We saw last game that even the few pockets of moments where XD looked positive, weren't able to put the pressure on the map against Sinister 5. Now they have that. Even if this is going to be safe lane Pudge, Beastmaster can play to that lane. You can play to both builds. If you go for the Axis build or if you go for the Boar build, as long as you're good enough on the micro on the Boar, you don't worry about Pudge. If you're good enough on the Axis, then you really don't worry about Pudge. And the Axis will help you scale the damage in the game in general, but also in a Beast aura, amazing with both Juggernaut and the leader. And they have now a BKB piercing disable, like you were mentioning earlier, against two heroes on DP and Pudge who will guaranteed buy BKBs. This is actually probably the best last pick they could have gone for this off lane on the side of Baron Biceps.
Definitely. It's also one of these picks that is very safe. You know, they don't really... Okay, the Pudge is probably going to be playing this safe lane carry from MD, but if they opt to change it around and switch it up, maybe send... They can flex it anyway, except for Dazzle. All the heroes can just go to every other lane, but it's something that's safe and secure as well. Okay, so they're going to, stick the DP off lane, Coddle mid. Castaway Coddle mid.
Yeah,
Hold
this
up.
is...
I need to check his
Yo,
win rate on this because I think this is...
You know, I was just talking about how Baron Biceps' last pick, Beastmaster, is one of the best picks they could have gone for XD. This Sinister 5 Coddle. How you beat Coddle traditionally is two ways: reach and overwhelming team fight. XD have neither of these things. They have a lot of push, very decent lanes, a lot of pressure, lots of single target individual kill this hero type of damage. But their overall team fight, not that phenomenal. But the real issue, when do they ever get to Coddle? When does Castaway actually ever fear for his life in this game? Remedy is not going to want to buy early Blink Dagger, neither is Baron Biceps, neither is Y going to be from the mid lane.
Crimson Tide is pretty much the only person getting forward with like the
5 seconds
rebound
remaining.
combo, trying to dispose back the Coddle, but they're not playing with the Pudge. They don't have like this instant dispose into hook combo or dispose into toss combo, which immediately repositions you. And to make matters worse here, Corny, they have the Tiny on Sin 5. If for some reason Castaway is actually out of position, you actually have 2 heroes to reposition you back to safety, or this Dazzle to ensure that you just don't die in that situation.
So pretty even since. I think this is going to be a game of mistakes. This is going to be a game where the one who messes up the least is going to actually take up the W here, because XD have this the team fight and the damage coming through, but Sinister 5 have that collapse where if you make a mistake, you are going to get punished for it, hands down. And we know this in 5, they're good enough players. They're never going to miss a hook that's free. They're not going to miss a toss back that's free. Well, I don't know what else skill points I have at this point. So they're not going to let you make a mistake at this stage of the game. At the same time, XD, like, no saves, except for what, Chen ult and if they get dispose or maybe the rebound shot. That's about the only save they have in this game.
I will say Sin 5 are in this wonderful situation where, like you say, they just have to not make mistakes. I think XD has to a little bit outplay here. They have very little latitude to be able to mess up this game. Any kind of instance of a mistake, like you mentioned, will be punished. But the worst part about it is that when you pick these kind of drafts, Beastmaster, Chen, Juggernaut, Lina,
Prepare
it
for
suddenly
battle.
becomes very important that these moves connect, because if they don't, suddenly your strategic planning for how this game is supposed to go starts to fall apart, and eventually you 100% just run out of damage out of the Sin 5 lineup. So not only can they not make mistakes here, Corny, XD are on a pretty significant timer if they want to be able to win this game, in my opinion.
XD have the dire buff this time round, so it was called. But actually going to run into... They might catch Crimson Tide here. He's in the position to plant a deep ward, possibly. It's actually going to completely miss him here, and now Baron is in a little bit of trouble. Grove has this toss back, so yep, you're going to get tossed right back into them. The slow is going to be there from Dazzle, and a high five is all he's going to get in this thing.
Oh, dude, look, he gets the first blood. Cast away Coddle with the first blood there. Oof.
30 seconds.
One of the major weaknesses of this Coddle being played in a core role is that he sometimes struggles in the first like 7 minutes to accrue as much farm and net worth up until you get like level 2, level 3 Illuminate. But now that he's gotten this early kill, that means that the game just starts automatically easier. This... Actually, yo, I'm very annoyed by Sin 5. Let me just rant for a little bit, Joe Corny. Give me a second.
Go ahead.
As they
Let
go
it
ahead and they pick this Morphling in game 1,
The battle-
tilting me, making me very upset, man. And now they are intent on ruining SA Pubs. Well, B is just dead. Bye, fam. They're gonna give it to Castaway, dude. No way.
Oh, my word.
God.
That
Alright,
was a
well,
sick play.
I can succinctly sum up what I want to say about the Sinister 5 team and say, unlike previous incarnations of Sin 5, which were clearly trying to win Dota and be the best team in the continent, this Sin 5 team seems intent on just ruining all of my pubs. So thank you. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Good luck, have fun, and enjoy the game.
Heating up again. First Morphling now, just a general Sin 5. So, Snare, you're going to be okay now? You need
try,
a
bro.
break? You try.
I'll try. I'll do my best.
XD are definitely going to try.
Tower is under attack.
What lane? MD? Oh no, okay. The thing I said about mistakes, like right at the start, this is a mistake. This is a mistake.
That can't happen.
Yeah.
He rebounded forward. Like, that was
yeah,
a proactive mistake as well.
Yeah. It's level 1. You're not going to kill a Pudge at level 1. Especially MD. And with the Dazzle! Like, whatever.
Not
Game of
only are you not going to
mistakes.
kill a Pudge, you're not going to do anything. But, you know, he got out of his system. You'd rather make mistakes early on in the game rather than
Yeah,
later.
that's
So
true. That's true.
he did it. It's fine. He'll be okay. He'll be fine.
I actually had a pondering question in a discussion with a friend the other day. The Pudge are so strong at the moment. Would they make it more balanced if they turned off the retroactiveness of the flesh heap stacks?
It would be more balanced, but it wouldn't
It's
matter. I don't think
it's
it would
literally
matter
just the
that
start of
much.
the game where that it affects.
I don't think it would matter that much. Besides, like, the big thing about Pudge that's busted, in my opinion, the flesh heap is very strong. And I used to think, actually, at the beginning of this patch that the flesh heap was the uber busted thing. And then I saw the Aghanim's rots, and I was like, oh, okay.
That is true. Chosen one top lane. He did just barely get out. TP'd in the tree lines back to tower, so he's going to be fine. The Spirit Siphon to heal up if they do go on him again. But a much more a much better lane for Remedy here at the start. Sitting with a few last hits to his name and a lot of stats actually. So they're going to go on to B. Spirit Siphon is just going to be doing a little bit. This tornado is actually... Can he actually choose where this tornado goes? He can. So, yeah.
I'm
I'm
very
actually not
interested
sure.
to
I'm
see
not-
how
I'm
he's
not
going to actually
familiar
play.
with
Chun.
Chun.
Busted hero right now. It's level 1. This hero we see dominate games. I do somewhat prefer this hero in the 4 role right now, rather than an out and out 5, but nonetheless, he can still do pretty phenomenal things. They actually might be able to kill Chosen One.
Yep. It's getting quite low here. They do have the spin up, and that impetus, I think it's called impetus, is going to be there to slow him up and add a bit of right click, but he'll be fine. Mini Centaur is...
Why did he have a
die here.
Corsair? Why didn't he have a Conqueror? Oh, feels bad.
Is it level 1 restriction?
Oh yeah, he is level 1.
Yeah, level 1, yeah.
He is level 1. Yeah. Feels bad. Well, and Grove is just gonna go ahead and kill the courier from the Juggernaut. That's boots for Remedy.
He's got
That's actually
another,
huge, right?
He's another ward. This is going to be the theme of Grove this entire tournament, is these deep wards. That's just his job.
What I love about this kill is not only going to be helping him to try and curtail some of the farm that Juggernaut gets, him not having boots, because they're not going to have this level 3, as we've just seen, they're going to struggle killing the DP without the Centaur Conqueror. So as a result of not having boots, you can't position yourself very far forward with the spin. You always have to be sitting very far back for safety. This not only helps them by making Juggernaut's life harder, but it also makes Chosen's life way easier. So what a great play from Grove, just by 1 courier kill.
He had a very interesting startup with the items. He went with a straight wand with 3 iron branches. So just want to amp up on stats in this lane. I didn't see what he took first level. I assume it was played for the healing ward taken before level 5 here. So just knows the sustain is going to be very important for him. And they're going to keep with that, even though they have the Chen, but it really only comes in later as the heal.
Shout outs to our production crew for doing the right thing and not even showing us as mid lane even once, because nothing happened.
thank you.
This is, my god.
Yes,
West
go
is
bottom.
on bottom.
Brilliant. Bot lane. Ooh, ole, MD. Misses the hook. First one of the game. I'm going to keep count and let him know later.
Radiant
Critique him on
structures
every
are
move.
fortified.
Alright, let's open up the spreadsheet here. So that's 1 miss, right?
One this, just write it down.
Tisk,
lanes
tisk,
though.
tisk.
It dazzle lanes, man. Dazzle lanes.
Yeah. Dazzle kind of makes the game a bit boring, because you can't actually kill the hero in the Dazzle lane for the most part, unless you have like Mossy Viper, then you can do it. But outside of those contexts, you have to have some kind of repositioning to try and deal with both the sustain as well as the slow that comes in from Poison Touch. That early level slow is surprisingly potent when you're trying to run down these heroes. They're going to try going to the punch though.
Yeah, actually pop it here. He has popped the Flesh Heap active, so he's going to take a lot less damage from the physical. And actually come in here with the Slinks. The poison is going to be onto them, and the slow is going to be there.
double kill.
Crimson tries to tank the kill, but he's going to die anyway, and MD doesn't look like he is at all. So they feed away to the Crimson, trying to save his buddy, but it wasn't enough at the end of the day. Tanky Pudge.
Remember 20 seconds ago when we were discussing, hey, it's actually impossible to go on to heroes in this Dazzle lane unless you have like these obscene kind of combinations. Unfortunately, Beastmaster not as strong with the Mossy as the Viper is, but they're going to try again. They're going straight in from.
And again, Flesh Heap, as we know, it's going to end in just a second, so the physical damage is going to come out. But this rot over time just adds so much damage, and now you got to deal with the poison. It is onto both of you. MD falls down to 100 HP, but he's fine.
He's fine. Dude, Slinks is so good at Dota. He pulls the wagon wave towards the camp in the middle of the gank, still comes back to save the gank itself, and make sure that the game itself still continues well for the Pudge. What a player.
Crimson very close there. Pudge just go to Secret Shop just to pick up the Ring of Health.
Radiant's bottom
Waddle
tower
on
is
back
under
to safe
attack.
lane at this point. He's got to pull up his pants, man. He's looking like a plumber at this point.
He's just chilling.
Can we
He's
show
off
that on
duty,
stream?
man.
I don't know. It's part of the game, but...
Yo, listen. There are many things I've shown and said on stream, man. You know, unforgiveness, not permission, CORNY. It's fine.
Actually, say, while things are going a little bit slow, actually, I say that. Why is our top lane? He has his boots finished up, but he's got 4 levels into the Dragon Slave here. You're gonna have the penitence, the Omni Slash coming out as well. They are saying, I want this kill, I don't care about what my cooldowns are at this point. So Remedy,
Thankfully, Grove getting punished for playing the last like 90 seconds in front of the tier 2 tower on the other side of the map. So
dude, he's going for the courier again. Watch this. The wards expire, but he has this, he's gonna kill it again. Okay, this is just a TP scroll. Look at him.
but he's still gonna kill the courier.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was about to say maybe he kills Remedy's one again, which I think it actually has his finished phase boots on it. He just hasn't called it out because he's too scared to lose it. I'm sure that's the reason.
Grove, the
No, it's just
chicken
waiting for the
assassin,
jab.
he's out here.
Mid lane. Well, he's going out to Grove, but he has his boots. He's a fast boy. Just actually, I haven't checked up in Castaway in a while. 67 last hits at the moment. Majority of that is going to be small camps around the mid lane, but he already has his TP boots finished off, and he is opting for the Spirit Vessel first item.
It'll terrify you more, Corny, if you switch over to the net worth and you'll see how much further ahead he is than everybody.
It's crazy. What is that? That's not allowed.
600 gold on the entire map right now. And the thing that gets very scary for me is one of the bright spots about the Exdee lineup. Yes, we saw top lane, they have this capacity for like absurd amounts of burst. Oh, Grove, this is fine, everyone's fine. No, it's fine.
My creeps, not
just
yours.
literally griefing him by just trying to kill as many of his creeps as he can.
Okay, we got that one at least. Did he take an illusion? No, he didn't. Never mind. Oh, he's got the Satyr. Never mind.
How do they play Dota when the Spirit Vessel comes out from Castaway? Because suddenly then, the hero that's going to be breaking up most of these early fights in the Chen won't be applicable. They won't have the healing ward available really to do anything in the fights. And they'll still be dishing out an absurd amount of damage themselves. I'm as happy as I was to see that kill happen in the top lane. I think Exdee needs to keep doing more of that stuff. They need to keep pushing the envelope. Stuff like this can't happen. Like, Lina can't die here.
You say that, she was so close there. She's got the 7 stacks, so she's going to be a bit speedy, and Grove couldn't really guarantee that the toss was going to land onto her. Meanwhile, top lane, actually, they have to spin again, and the penance is going to be there on Chosen One. So the lane domination going around the other way for Remedy this time. I'm sure his table is going to be in much better condition from this lane compared to last game.
Well, unfortunately though, the good times are about to stop rolling. Top lane, yes, you've gotten another kill onto the Death Prophet, but we now have a full Vanguard out on this Pudge, which means that these must have to leave bottom. Yeah. You actually have to leave bottom. You actually literally do 0 damage to Pudge now. Your army does nothing. He went for the Call of the Wild rather than the Wild Access Bolt, so he has no sources of being able to pressure the Pudge anymore. So MD is now king of this bottom, and look how this is reflected. Immediately, you see his supports vacating him. Look where Schlinks is. Schlinks is stacking triangle on this Dazzle, because he's like, why do I need to be near the Pudge? He doesn't need my help. Castaway still farming all across the jungle.
They actually get the jump onto Grove here, and he's going to pay. Nice bit of play from Crimson Tide. Rebound forward on the dispose into the Life Strike Array. Easy bit of kills there. Exdee much more comfortable.
They want the tower. They're going to try and force this.
Remedy, he actually has his Javelin and Omni Slash available. See if they can fight into this. Exorcism still got plenty of time left. But yeah, Chosen One, I think he's just going to take... This is a free tower. DP offlane, man. Oh, actually, Pudge, they get the kill down on bot lane. He's going to try and DP out. Actually, he makes it! No way! Remedy committed the Omni Slash. They didn't get enough procs on either the Javelin, and it was close. That was a very close one at the end of the day, but MD knowing the limits, and he gets out scot-free.
Alright, we need to have another prediction here. So chat, obviously all of you who are here have entered the draw to win the Evetech Stealth Gaming glasses by typing in EGL One. However, what I really want out of all of y'all is let me know how many times you think this MD Pudge is actually going to die. He's at 0 so far. I think he's going to die once. What you feel about it?
I'll say twice. And I'm going to say twice because I know MD and I know what he's going to do. Actually, I'm not getting too excited about that roar because I know what's coming now. You don't have the roar up, you don't have your balls to really do much. Actually, I say that, Schlinks is taking a pummeling, but they have this heal from Cosmo. It's fine.
Fine. Healing Ward is going to help them out on Exdee, but they're coming for this fight bottom. Why also just TP it in? They really want this. I'm not so sure about the wisdom of this situation though. This feels like a dangerous jump to go into, especially because Ghosts, they might not be on cooldown, like they might be off cooldown, but this DP still feels relatively dangerous with the Siphon, and she might be able to TP in.
They do have the vision here from the Hawk, so they did see Castaway smoke pop there. Remedy doesn't have his Omni Slash up at the moment. He has his Maelstrom finish at least. But yeah, I think Exdee are going to take this tower. They have all 5 down here in the spot lane, and I think they're just going to sort of trade space. And more importantly, MD is taking those stacks that Schlinks made earlier. So he's going to be a nice farm boy.
Oh god. Here it comes. Magnum Scepter not too far away. Then it becomes really scary. Chen starts to hate life. Juggernaut, he's already hating life now, but Chen and Beastmaster, nobody enjoying times, but it gets even worse after they get the Blink BKB. On the bright side though, them being able to pick up that tower does open up some space for them. The next port of call has to be middle though. I like how they're moving in to try and put drone off this area because they realize that they can't give away this much space. They need to be able to dominate this jungle, and the easiest way to be able to do that, get the tier 1 mid tower. And they still have a substantial army from the Beastmaster, so they should be able to take this without too much challenge.
A lot of damage coming out from Cosmo here, and Chosen One has the Exo up. So they're probably going to fight to defend this tower, but why? He's pummeling into the tower. Oh, that tickled his toes, maybe it tickled his dress, but Andy, he's going to run in, he's going to get Sentinel stunned right off the bat into the Light Striker as well. The Roy's going to be onto it, but he's taking no damage, and Exdee, they got to get out of here before it goes badly, which Grove ensures it does. The toss forwards of Tiny Airlines. Andy's got a first-class ticket. He's going to keep running, and Chosen One, he's going up too. He says, I'm not done with this fight. Grove might have thrown it in, killed off-field Beastmaster, but I ain't done. Come over here.
It's gonna seem strange and paradoxical, but I think Exdee are okay with what just happened. The tier 1 tower middle almost certainly has to be denied, or you risk giving away free gold towards the die time. And they had to pop Ghost. Oh wait, no, okay, it's not that okay. If Crimson Tide gets away, then it's fine. Ah, it's fine. It's not better.
Woo! Okay, raindrops. Jeez. That actually would have been it, I think.
He's got raindrops.
Yeah, he blocked 120 damage, he was at 120. My word. That was a close one. Mid lane, oh, not like this. Why? The toss back and the Healy is actually going to TP out. Okay, okay. I'll give you a clap through that. That was well played. Realized that there was no stun left.
That actually takes the last 90 seconds from being relatively okay to actually being very, very good. You waste ultimates, you force them all back towards their side of the map, and now Baron Biceps not going to get hooked because he's blocking with his creeps. No, it's fine, dude. He knows what's up.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Be in the creep master here. They actually smoke up. They do see Crimson Tide bottom. I'm going to see if they opt to get anything here. Grove, he's jumping forwards. He sees that the toss back is going to be onto MD. I feel like that's something we're going to be seeing all game long. It's just an easy toss back into another stack for MD on the fleshy.
It's something we've been seeing for several months now, Corny. It's not an enjoyable time.
Oh,
but
no.
be careful.
Oh, Coddle. Coddle, you pony.
Yeah, it's entirely fair that this hero should be able to bring in allies or just create so much space, keep pushing back these waves. Mid lane, they're fighting more.
Again, Baron dying like this, it almost feels like Exdee doesn't really care. He's has such little impact at this point in the game. His net worth is so low. And Exdee aren't really losing out on much except for another body to really throw at Sin 5 at this point in the game. And Sin 5 know their strength. They are only pushing forward here. They're not going to take an objective pushback. And actually top lane, it's going to be very close for Y. Good on the creeps, but either way, it's going to be the toss back. Chosen One, easy bit of kill from the B. No more creeps for you. Motto, it's going to die as well.
Remedy's actually really good at Dota. Like, what a player. Him and Crimson Tide understanding the situation and that, like,
whoa,
if we let the creep if they're right.
What the hell was that? The jump in, the toss back, he's going to be onto Baron. The Karoi is committed to onto the Light Striker raise. Y is going to try and pummel him down, but the miss is going to be there. MD's coming in. The hook isn't actually going to clip. He's going to barely miss again. Crimson Tide jumps in to sort of save his teammates. The Hand of God is not going to be enough, and MD is just keep walking forward. The rocks are slow. The Aghanim's is finished. The Dismember onto Remedy through the spin is going to be enough, and the actual Coddle Wave hits as well.
Almost got the hook.
Oh. He's been this 3 hooks now in a row onto Lena that is just barely missed. That fight just came out of nowhere. What a Chad.
Grove, man. What a player.
Remember when items weren't allowed on certain heroes?
Yeah,
They should not allow Blink to be played on Grove. This is not fair.
I disagree. We should not allow Blink on Grove or just Grove in Dota. Maybe that's the issue. Grove again. Look at the bottom.
Yep. He's going to find an easy toss into the slow. And Castaway.
Lena's dead.
Slack it.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's just a repeat, you know? It's like a clip you keep playing over and over because it's the same thing. And oh, MD! He gets a hook of the sentry through 2 waves of creeps onto Crimson Tide. He said, I've missed a few, but no more for me. Woo!
Dire's middle
Yeah, he's
Wow,
laughing
wow,
now.
wow.
He's laughing now.
Yeah.
He's fine.
He's having the time of his life right now. Well, you know, one of the things we've despaired about here, Corny, in Season 3 of EGL One has been the fact that as the level of Dota competition raises, also the disparity between teams keeps increasing, and I don't think we've seen a Sinister 5 this far ahead of some of their top 3 podium finish competition as we have before. This is absolute domination. They're not allowing them to do anything at all in this game. Like, they've finished the Vessel now on this Coddle. They don't have a Vessel to deal with Pudge, Dazzle with the Death Prophet on the side of Exdee. They don't have any Blink Daggers on their lineup right now. They don't have a single BKB. They have 1 damage item in this Maelstrom. But outside of that, all of their items are immediately counteracted by either the draw of the Sin 5 or the items that they built themselves. Like, their biggest accomplishment is somehow finding an early mech for this Shen. But what's Shen gonna do? He's gonna mech, and then the hero he wants to pick up will be Cyphered. Well, and there's the Shen, just about to die. Can't mech now if you're from the grave.
I was just about to ask, XD pushing that top tower. They did get that tier 1, but it's like, are you really going to send yourself back when you know you have Exorcism, you know you have this tanky Pudge that has the advantage? And Grove! He gets another one! It's coming again and again! And Crimson Tide jumps in now, all too late. He does dodge the hook low, so he's not going to immediately die off here. And Remedy, he's got his Mjolnir finished, and he's not doing much better than last game, but it almost feels like it's a little too late here. Actually, I said that the Light Strike Array is going to come onto MD, but the Grave is going to be there for the first time. It saves MD. The hook is going to go way off to the right, but Remedy gets a few kills of himself. The Pudge is finally going to fall, and Remedy, he's getting so low, the Spirit Vessel is going to stop all that healing. And Grove again, he jumps in with the Blink Dagger, the Avalanche and the 3 hits are going to bubble down XD. That looks so good for XD at the start and so bad at the same time.
Well, Skep 3P, our person in
no,
chat,
not
won the giveaway. Oh, that's a dead gen. The reason I'm bringing this up here, Corny, is because the person who's won our giveaway, Skep 3P, has won some Evetech Stealth gaming glasses, and you need to pick those up as soon as possible, put them on, because watching this raw it's just too much pain and suffering right now. XD really do not have a look into this game. Losing, it's a very bad look when the strongest hero on the map at that point dies, right? Pudge gets brought down, and then they realize, wait a second, they actually have 2 other heroes that have equivalent amounts of net worth and can provide equivalent amounts of pressure within the midst of this team fight. We don't need the Pudge to beat you anymore. And that is a terrifying prospect, given how strong this hero is at the moment. Because the real MVP, if we're going to be honest, Corny, you mentioned it earlier, the airline Tiny of Grove. Mans is out here. Just making it impossible for you to do anything. Like, look how many sentries they're placing inside their base right now to de-ward, because they knew there was a ward there, but they're also terrified of more vision being provided, because they know any kind of vision pretty much leads into a death, because Grove is there. And look who it is, it's Grove again.
Grove finally been able to get another catch. MD caught Y on the side lanes, and he was actually chasing him all the way from spawn. The Chosen One, this is almost too easy. He doesn't have Exorcism, he's just Spirit Siphoning. Crimson Tide, he's stuck on the high ground, but Grove is there again. You cannot escape the Tidy. He is not Galula, he's not going to cancel your flight anytime soon.
And even if he cancels your flight, you're still flying, whether you like it or not. Once you've booked, you're booked. You're not going anywhere.
You know,
And, they just got Ghost back online. What a perfect time. You just finished off pushing through this mid lane melee racks with the range racks taken out as well. And now it is time to try and put the end to the game, then nail in the coffin, go for the jugular. And what can they do about this, Cody? I don't know. They maybe they just take a tier 4 and back, but if I'm them, I go all the way for this one if I'm Sin 5.
yeah, Sun 5, they have no reason to back here. MDs keep going, oh, the creeps again. This is getting so close. There's a few times where the creeps have blocked the hooks that is surely going to result in a kill. And he's jumping forward here. He has to spend the actual... His jump in from Crimson is going to be there. MD actually, he's up to the side. Actually, the Grave comes back. He's going to have there the Hand of God is trying to heal up XD, but the Aghanim Scepter is doing all the damage. The bouncers aren't going to bounce away he wants. MD's actually falling very low here. He does go down. Whoops, indeed. Grove is going to toss him out. He's going to kill Beren. He says, I don't care if you kill my teammates. I'm going to carry this game single-handedly. Crimson Tide again falling to the hands of the Tiny. A buyback from Y is needed to sort of hold Exdee in this game. And what is this bad? He even has a 4-star. Oh my word.
Stay here. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah,
We forced the
they
lead
don't-
buyback. They don't have Primal Roar. They don't have GG Slash. They don't have Hand of God. They don't have the Unleashed. They have nothing. And here's the toss back.
The Exdee are just trying to deal with the Tiny Airlines at this point in the game. He has the Blink 4-star for Remedy. This is going to be so much damage. And again, a tossed up in the air. And he is dead with no buyback at this point in the game. Exdee going to have to fight this 4v5 in any moment. And Grove, he's just looking for more. He's looking for more customers. This is going to be the most profitable South African-based airline ever.
The reason it's
not
so
much of an
profitable,
achievement
Courtney,
anyway,
is
but
that, you don't have, there's no cost incurred, man. You know, you
Yep.
fly for free when you get on this airline. And you get the airline gets the gold, all of it. It's fine.
There's been
He's
no...
looking for it. Oh, Baron's dead. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Isn't it? Yeah, he's exit. They call it. XD are done. They've said they've had enough. Grove, you did your work. You carried Sin 5 to this. They went into this game, but that's... Oh my word. It's too easy. It looks too easy for Sin 5 at this point. You know, they're proving why they're the champs, but again, this is another iteration of Sin 5 where they swapped up their roles, even though their roster is the same as last season, and it's proving to work. They're now in the first team up in that upper bracket final, and it doesn't look any different from last season. It's a promising shellacking from XD, although it's a Sin 5 forced shellacking, let's say. Am I allowed to say that? Is that copyright trademark or whatever?
Yeah, let's use it until sunset
Until
and
we
then
get
get
cease and
action.
desist from Lyrical. Well, not Lyrical, sorry. Anyway.
But the way I feel about this match, right? The one difference I've seen from Sin 5 between them here and in previous seasons of EGL One, right, is if we consider their potential pathways and the journeys that they made into the grand finals or just the winner bracket final, they only really met a very strong competition in the upper bracket final, right? Last season they made Energy Esports, currently benchwarmers, beat them, and they got themselves into the finals. In season 1, they ended up beating Energy Esports again in that same situation in the upper bracket final, beating them and moving on. However, those were very close games. Very, very close games. 2-1 in both instances, if I remember correctly. Someone might have to correct me on that one. But what it showed us was that, well, Sin 5 still has some cracks. They can't necessarily walk all over this tournament. The very scary thing here, Corny, is from all the Dota I've seen in this tournament so far, I would have said to you that XD is probably stronger than benchwarmers coming into this one. But the way that Sinister 5 didn't just beat them, they dismantled them.
Yeah.
Every single positive aspect of the squad that we've seen up until this point in the winner bracket was not present from them. And it's not because they were having an off day. It's not because they were playing bad Dota. They were doing everything humanly possible, but they both got outdrafted, outplayed, and outskilled in the matchup itself. And this Sin 5, I think, is probably the strongest iteration of String 5 that we've seen so far in EGL 1. And that does not bode well for the competition that want to prove once and for all that they don't own EGL 1. They might get displaced. But the way they're looking right now, fam, feels like I'm watching Real Madrid. Back-to-back-to-back champions might just be the situation that we have happening here.
Definitely their tournament to lose at this point of the game. I was hoping that there was sort of a storyline that XD could be the kryptonite that Sin 5 sort of falls to, but no showing of it whatsoever. Their drafting has been on point. They still have these heroes that you have to deal with for Grove, for Schlinks, and it's really been Grove. He's had such a dominant impact on the team that it's just, if he rounds it all together, you have these star players of Chosen One and Castaway. They make these amazing plays, but it's all the time we're looking at Grove because he's the one that goes, come, have your food, here's a hero, take him off farm, go get that, I'll make space, it's fine. I'll sit in trees for 5 minutes straight and just count couriers and that's it. But that's all they need.
Him and he had a phenomenal performance himself, right? Just like you said, tossing everybody back, making life exceptionally easy for the most part. But I don't think we should underrate Schlinks as well.
Yeah.
Schlinks, his efforts in this game, the reason why this Pudge was able to completely dominate the game on MD, his 2 deaths was honestly his own fault. He shouldn't have died in this situation. And you got the right prediction. Shout out to you.
Yeah.
Castaway died 0 times this game. But this dazzle for Schlinks from the laning phase onwards,
on point every single time, not just with the shallow graves, but also the pitch perfect poison touches. The fact that he went ahead and built like a super early Boots of Travel, understanding that, well, I need to be in between both the Death Prophet, the Pudge, and the Keeper of the Light. If I'm there, these heroes just shouldn't die. And I think it's very noticeable that the only time these heroes died was that he's not there, not doing his thing. And the only time that Exdee Heroes dies is when Grove is there, forcing people into awkward positions. So, yet again, Sinister 5, the reason why they look so hot isn't because they have the most skilled core heroes in the entire country or in the entire continent, but because they have one of the best support duos. I'll be 100% honest, let me keep it a stack with you. Having cast a lot of international Dota, these two, right, would fit into international teams as a support duo. They look really, really good.
Yeah, Schlinks and Grove. When Grove came back, everyone was like, "Oh crap, this is big. It's Filthy Frank. He's got a new name, but he's the same demon," sort of thing. And it's probably Nobuhiro having a few flashback moments himself, and PTSD, seeing the helicopters and treants flying all over his screen. But it's what pulls this team together, and it's really it's the glue. It's the thing that makes it work. And Exdee, brilliant team, but it sort of felt they were just outdrafted, outmoved through the map in this game. They always had to be giving up something here or there, sacrificing a hero to get another out, sacrificing runes in the mid lane, anything along those lines. So that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. You come up against a team that's got the skills, they've got the idea behind them, and can't really do much.
Yep. You can't really do much. What you can do though, Corny, is learn. Because they're not done. They still have another bite at the cherry. This is only going to be them dropping down to the lower bracket. And from there, they still have an opportunity to claw their way all the way back into the grand finals. This has happened before to them, where they've got knocked down to the lower bracket and then ended up placing third, both in Season 1 and in Season 2. So certainly there's a high likelihood that this could end up happening again. Like I mentioned earlier, I did think that this was the strongest team in the tournament as it stood right now outside of Sinister 5. So I feel very bullish, not just about their chances to get third, but I think this is the season they break the curse here, Corny. I think they're actually going to go all the way back into the grand finals, rematch against Sinister 5, probably lose the series if I'm honest, but they will attain second place this time around and not just third.
Yeah, it's still a long way for them to go. They've got 3 more matches just to get to that grand final as it stands. But there's plenty more Dota to play here at EGL One Season 3 as we have more upper bracket matches and then back down to the elimination Dota as we are in this top 8 sort of stage. It's going to be good matches anyway. But on Wednesday, we have Benchwarmers versus ZA, the up-and-coming team. They finally stayed in that upper bracket. They've been Team Pingu, then last season they were Black Rabbit Gaming, and now they're playing under ZA, and they are definitely going to put on a show for us there. I guarantee they've got something up their sleeve for Benchwarmers this time around. But I think that is everything for this season. So yes, Grove, please. Give some coaching lessons. I want to learn. Like, it's so good watching it, dude. It's unbelievable. It's like watching GHTI7. It's like watching GRXTI8. You gotta give some praise where it's due. So yes, Grove, Sinister 5, well played on this game today, and that is going to be it for us tonight. But yeah, Sinister 5 take a 2-0 over Exdee and move themselves into that upper bracket finalism. Oh, that doesn't work for this 3-0. It doesn't work. But anyway, that's going to be us for tonight. Don't miss out on any of the action on Wednesday as Benchwarmers take on ZIZ. So yeah, we'll see you guys then for some more EGL action. Cheers.